New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. We are Rockin The Love right here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I am Robin.
And I'm Gil, and we not only rock the love here, we rock the love everywhere. So we're glad you're with us from wherever you're coming in from. And we are today exploring some new territory just for fun, because actually that's what it is every time. It's about the fun of exploring different parts of our lives that affect how we relate to ourselves, to other people, to our work, to all those different things.
That's right. So really out there, you points of light are helping us rock the love globally. So you're anchoring your part, and we're glad you're doing it. So today we're going to dive into the power of intention. And our topic today is intention matters more than anything. So we're going to see what that means, what that is about, and how really intention. We told you last week we were going to be working on the book, The 5 Gifts for a Prosperous Life. Is that what it's called?
5 Spiritual Gifts of Abundance.
But that was my translation. So anyway, thank you. By Diane Harmony. And we're just, loosely basing it on that because we're doing a 5-week study, so to speak, where you're on your own. So you can join in at any time. You're on your own. And last week we talked about gratitude. And speaking of gratitude, hello, Shay. We're glad to see you. And this week we're talking about intention. So, and if you want to join in, you can get our weekly handout guides by putting your email
in the chat, in the comments. Yeah.
And we'll get you out our weekly things to think about for the week based on the chapters in the book. So, and the book is available on Amazon as well. So,
Wherever fine books are sold.
Okay, so if you're going to make jokes, you got to make them louder so that people can hear. Or don't. Or make them softer. Okay, anyway. So it is hot here in Albuquerque. That's how our week has been hot.
Yeah, it's been hot. Been peaking out over 100 almost every day this week.
Yeah, and no rain this week.
No
It's
water.
on the windshield for like 2 seconds and no.
Yeah, I bought new wiper blades the other day because it was pouring and it looked like it was going to do it a couple more days. It only does it for, a short period of time at a time. But still, if you get that every day, it's not good. But now I'm just saving them until it gets a little cooler and I don't waste them in the heat until I absolutely need them.
Now you're ready. You're ready for
86 and sunny in Ohio.
86 and sunny in Ohio.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty warm everywhere, even in California as we check in with friends and family. It's pretty hot out there in the world.
Yeah.
Although I read, Gil, a weather warning that I got because I still get mail from Oakland, California the other day. And they were having a weather warning that it was going to be a low of like, what was it? 63 or 57.
58 or something, yeah.
I'm like, okay. This is not newsworthy.
We're not sure what the warning was, but it didn't seem to make sense. But we are just below 100 right now. We're at 98 degrees. And the good part about where we are here in Albuquerque is it is a desert. So our humidity is never that high, except on rare occasions. And we have a river that flows right through the middle of town.
Liar.
We have something large that resembles what water would flow through if there was water.
No, everybody, don't you remember, like in history class, if you were in a U.S. history class, I don't know what happens in Canada and other parts of the world, but about the Rio Grande River. Somehow I had this story like about ancestors trudging across the
Mighty Rio Grande.
Rio Grande, and the mules carrying the loads. And I got here, and it's like mud. It's not. There's not a river. There's not water. At least until we have one of those winters where really it doesn't stop.
Yeah,
I'm not buying it.
I've seen it where it was too dangerous. I mean, you need to stay back from it because if you got caught in it, you'd be gone. But
You've seen that since you've been here?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen where we had police and fire at some areas where you could get down to the river where they were asking people to go back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive. Very impressive. So, but along those lines, let's talk about our week because I want to get to our show.
Okay. Our week, impressive. Good week, interesting, lots going on, and well, we talked last week about gratitude, and as that sunk into me over a couple of days, it began to ring true, and I just want to share that I had a couple things happen that really reminded me that gratitude, having that attitude of gratitude and looking at things and being grateful for what is, allowed me to have the opportunity to see possibilities I didn't see before. So,
okay, I love my cryptic husband.
I'm not trying to be cryptic.
But this is radio. You've you've got to tell them the little of the story. I know some of you out there have seen it and heard it because I know you listen to Gail Talk on Sunday. But for those of you that don't, just give examples of like we went into gratitude and we really focused on that. And we had this day where I hadn't been able to find my wallet for like a week. I wasn't really worried about it because I knew it wasn't lost, but I didn't know where it was. And then we looked into places that we thought it could be and it wasn't there. And I remembered that maybe I left it at the market in the cart because that's the last place I took it out. So we called the market. This is a week later. And they're like, oh yeah, we have it. So we got the wallet. We went there. We took a lottery ticket that we had for I don't know how many months, and got $10 back on that. And then Gil goes to pay the rent, and he goes to pay the rent. And as he's paying the rent, hit it, Gil.
I'm paying the rent. My our landlord talks to me and mentions the fact that are we still thinking about buying a house? He'd mentioned that to us some months back. And I said, well, yeah, but we're not in a place to do that. We're gonna be a while if we can really do that. And so anyway, after some discussion, what it came down to was we didn't talk in specifics, but what he suggested and what the possibility that hit me was that perhaps we could do something directly with him without involving other financing and for a very low down. And that would create the situation where we may be able to purchase. So going from a week where I was frustrated with no money and et cetera, to shifting into a place where I said, you know what? I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why it shows up all the time, but I have to remember that all this stuff that's here is a gift. And if there's a gift that needs to be given, it will show up. So
there you go. So yeah, just walking the talk and just really focusing on the principles, I think, has made a big difference in the week.
Yeah, yeah. So that's made it much better, and personally, I'm more able to focus on what I'm trying to do, because before that I was too focused on all the thoughts in my head, which seems pretty dumb for someone who professes to study new thought and
Hey, human
you know
happens. It's just
etc. It actually reminds me of the of an old Garrison Keillor Lake Wobegon, where he talked about all about the guy describing how he was having to fix up the basement because the in-laws were coming for Christmas and blah 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 blah, and how much he really hates the holiday, etc. And he said, "You might think this is all weird coming from a Methodist minister." Sort of reminds me of that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, my week has been good. It's been, I don't know. They're all busy, and it's been busy. I am wearing my doctor attire because I don't know what's going on with the doctor, so I'm bringing my magic hat back into zhuzh them up and exercise whatever's happening, and for everybody to go back to a winning mentality because that's what we do in sports. So yeah, so I'm a little whatever about that, and then I'm excited that we're taking a weekend off, even though we have work to do. We're going to be doing work, but I'm excited that we're pretending we're away. We're having a staycation, so I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, I think things are good.
Well, a staycation in this 100+ degree weather is kind of wise if you don't want to go very far anyway.
Well, it's not wise, as you all know, it's not wise when your husband has the air conditioning on to 82 or whatever. I get it, it's not 106, but all right. But enough about that.
Enough about you.
Enough about you, buddy boo. So, good news. We've got good news. We've got it. We've got it for you. We got to stand in that place of acknowledging the good, being grateful for all the people doing so much good work out in the world. So, tell us what you got.
Well, I found an article about a gentleman who, purchased apparently a boat building company some years ago, and many years ago, and he's been working at it for 58 years, building it, and helping it continue to be competitive and become more competitive. And their motto is something like, we build the best boats in the world, kind of thing, and truly instilling that into the company and the workers and everything. And he brought it back from the brink of bankruptcy to being a very lucrative company. And now he has set it up so that the company is a charitable organization. So all of it no longer works for profit for him. Instead of selling it, he had offers for much money. So instead of selling it, though, he is turning it over to like this trust or however it works. Not good at how it works, but basically turning it over so that it continues to function as a boat company, and its income continues to fund all kinds of different charitable projects.
Nice.
Yeah. And, he turned down quite a lot of money that he could have taken in for himself. Yeah. But this was his goal. And it's, and it's kind of on the, I guess it's similar. Patagonia did something similar, continues to fund conservation and all that kind of stuff out of this company, rather than funding shareholders and owners. Don't take every word I said at heart, but that's the basic idea.
Yeah, the basic idea is he chose for the greater good as
right.
opposed to his bank account.
There you go. That's it. We could have shortened that up really good.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. I love those kind of stories. It gives me the feeling that somehow we're getting it. That it's not really about more, more, more. It's about putting it out there and creating more for everyone, and then in turn you'll get more anyway. So my story is, I love my story. Let me just say, my story is about a man in Colorado who is a piano tuner, and about 5 years ago he went to see a boy play piano in concert, and it was a 9-year-old autistic boy, and he was so moved by that he went home and decided to spend part of his inheritance, his life savings, to buy him a $15,000 piano, because he didn't have a piano. The kid had learned on a keyboard and that he found in the garage or in the basement of their home. And the family, the father, his name is Isaiah, and the father is an immigrant who's raising 4 children from Ghana, and so he was so touched that anybody could possibly care this much. And he said that the man who bought the piano, his name is Steve Hartman. He said that when he saw him, he just knew that he was a prodigy. That what came out of him when he put his hands on the keyboard changed his life forever. That he was like a Mozart savant style talent that he hadn't seen anything like in his entire life. And as the child, Jude is his name, began to express all these talents, and people kept finding out about him, it just intrigued them more and more. And now he's 14 years old. It's 5 years later, and he's going to be releasing his first album. And I just think it totally changed the trajectory of this kid and this family's life. And so when he gave it to him with free piano tuning for life, because he's a piano tuner. So I just think, I don't know, people going beyond like that is just amazing to me. So.
Yeah, and giving the encouragement and the opportunity, really, by having a quality instrument for that kid to allow his true strengths to come forth. That's pretty incredible.
Well, and that's just the story, right? You can only imagine that this 64-year-old man who decided to do this and now is sitting with the child as he tunes the piano, and just the relationship even that he's built. And forget the piano, what has he taught the family, the kids, about kindness and connection and all of those things? You know what I mean? It's such a different, I don't know, so many possibilities. So I just think like so many gifts from that.
All right. Very cool.
It is very cool.
Good news, ladies and gentlemen. Good news.
Good news. There's good news happening out there. And the good news is that we're going to take a break and we're going to be back. How much better could it get than that? And when we come back, we're going to be talking about intention. And as you watch our new commercial segment, we have a new commercial for you. We're going to be talking about New Thought in the Desert, which we've spoken about just a little bit here and on my other show. And take a look at it. We'd love to have you join us at New Thought in the Desert this year in Las Vegas.
Nevada.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay. All right. So it's a gamble, but you should be there. Okay, that's my job for the day. Okay, so don't go away. Come right back here to New Thought Media Network.
Imagine a gathering where inspiration becomes action, where spiritual vision becomes a shared future, and where the power of new thought comes alive in community. Join us for New Thought in the Desert 2026, Living the Power of New Thought. We are getting together September 17th through the 20th in Las Vegas. Begin by putting love into action through sacred service. Then experience inspiring speakers and spiritual leaders from Unity, Centers for Spiritual Living, Agape, and beyond, along with powerful conversations, interactive experiences, and a collaborative vision for the future of our movement.
I focus on harmony. How do I live into that?
Celebrate with Faith Rivera in concert. Celebrate, communicate, connect. Together we are living the power of new thought. Join us in Las Vegas. Visit lasvegascsl.org to learn more and register today.
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
Hello, we are back on Rockin The Love. I'm Robin.
And I'm Gil, and we're happy to be with you today. This is Rockin The Love, and what are we talking about today?
Today we're diving into the power of intention.
The power of intention.
Yeah, I think I love intention. You know, I'm really aware of certain buzzwords and qualities that I'm attracted to, and intention is definitely one of them. So we're talking about intention and really how it shapes every experience in our life. You know.
So what is intention? What do you?
If you don't interrupt
We're having a talk, a banter.
Know,
you can get to it.
We can banter, but I was in the middle of a sentence.
Oh my gosh!
Fine, go.
I just did it. You're supposed to keep going. I said, what does it mean to you?
You made me lose the flow. I was in the flow.
You're such an actress. You can't.
All right. So anyway, it doesn't matter. But intention, it shapes every experience in our life, whether it's prosperity or anything. You know, because I think we're always sending intentions. This week, however, we're focusing loosely on from the book Diane Harmony wrote about the 5 gifts of prosperity. And we're just going to explore how intention really does focus our energy and direct our choices and really opens up the channels for whatever to come forth, whatever we're creating to really be called forth. So, you want to add anything?
I'm just wondering, what is intention? What does it mean? I hear you saying it shapes
So what
things
is
and moves
intention
things.
for me?
Yeah.
Intention for me, I think it's a direction. It's a it's it's it, it's the inner yes that organizes our outer experience. It's being clear on what it is we want.
Yes. Yes. It's not a goal per se, but it's the directing ourselves in the direction of a goal, having something that we are intending to show up, to be born, to whatever, manifest.
Yeah, and I think it's different. Yeah, exactly. You said it. It's different than a goal or a desire or a resolution. It's a different clarity. It's a different clarity, I think.
Yeah, it's not about just having a desire for something, like you said. It's the intention is when we make the choice. This is where we're going. This, this is what it is over here. No matter where we are, that's where we're going to be.
Well,
And,
yeah.
and to me, that's kind of the intention concept. And if we don't have any intentions, then we tend to travel with much less direction, because we don't know what direction to face, if you will.
Well, and I think there's a deeper thing happening for me. I mean, I think my intention for me comes from my soul and truly who I am and tapping into knowing that truth. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I set an intention, it really brings me into full alignment with who I am, sort of thing. And I want to share a quote on that because I like it, which is from Wayne Dyer, that says, "Begin to see yourself as a soul with a body rather than a body with a soul." And that just spoke to me in regards to really where I think intentions come from. Because I think it's the soul calling you into the action.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, that's kind of that concept where we often seem to have things sort of reversed. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting that exact concept that so often we have been taught, or it sort of is implied that this is me, and I also have this soul that I carry around. This entity that's somehow more transcendent than just this. When in reality, we also say that that ongoing quality of life continues and was in progress before we came here, and bloppity blop. And it makes so much more sense that we're a soul having this experience, showing up and able to inhabit a body, if you will. Mm-hmm. I just find it fascinating that we tend to do that. And I think we do that with a lot of things, even with how we view the world, in terms of, things happen to me from out there instead of things happen as me from in here. Right. And I think that's part of the thing. We're a body, we're getting knocked around, instead of we are making the choices. And that's the whole thing about intention. It's a part of that choice making process. For what are we going to spend time with? How are we going to interact with people? How are we going to do our life?
Yeah, how we do it, how we do everything. So how does intention connect to prosperity?
Well, that's a good question. I think the connection is that if we have an intention that we see ourselves as poor and lacking all the time, we don't have the ability or the room or whatever it is to receive abundance in our lives. If we see everything as a struggle, if we see that our house is too small, that our, all these kinds of things. That's how we experience our lives. If we set our intention to see the abundance that we have, the gifts that we have, and the possibilities, etc., it opens the space for us to actually step into things because we can see them, we can receive them.
So the short version of what you're saying is that prosperity really begins in consciousness, not in the conditions. So the stories and the things that we get caught up in is not the truth. We've got to go to the place of consciousness.
Right. How many poor people have you met that are rich? And by that I mean people that
Very profound.
The people that have a lot of money and they believe themselves to be poor. They have a lot of house, they have a lot of car, they have a lot of family, they have a lot, and they see themselves as poor. Yeah. Whatever it is. And because they see themselves that way, that's their experience of that life.
Right. So I think that's really important. So while prosperity begins in consciousness and not in conditions, our intention is really what sets the tone for what we allow and what we welcome or what we expect. Right.
If we don't intend to have gratitude, we don't intend to see the breadth of what's present in our lives, et cetera, if our intention is to get back at somebody else for something they did, and focus our energies out there, that's a different intention. It's a different kind of outcome, but it's still from our intention.
Yes, which leads me to the hidden intentions that we don't even realize we're holding.
Yeah.
I mean, because like you just said, if you are a person who perhaps appears to have a lot of things or homes or friends or family or money and whatever, and you're still feeling poor or less than, then you're not realizing that you're holding that intention of whatever it is. I don't have enough, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not rich, or whatever it is. I mean, but you're holding those beliefs, and whether it's, they don't all have to be monetary.
No.
I mean, it's,
my experience of life is sad. My experience of, whatever I'm holding.
And it's like the version of like being, I don't want to fail versus I'm going to thrive. I intend to thrive.
Right.
Or, I don't want to be poor as much as I intend to have all my needs met financially with a financial flow, or however you choose to.
Right. And if we define ourselves by the quote negative, then we limit where we can go. If I define myself as I'm not going to be poor, well, what is that? And where does that end? If I'm going to define myself as I enjoy the abundance of life and I know I'm fully supplied and taken care of, then suddenly that's how I experience things, and that's how I see things, and that's how things show up for me.
Yeah, so we have these scarcity-based intentions that we accidentally live from, without really knowing how the unconscious intentions shape our life.
So that brings up a really good point. So if I say, okay, my intention is to live a rich and full life, and underneath it, my belief is that because I'm this age, I don't have enough time to really reach my goals and dreams and etc. How does that that doesn't match up, right?
Right.
And so that underlying intention, that underlying piece can become the louder intention, if you will.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I mean, I think this is relative. I'm not sure exactly what's coming out of my mouth, but it makes me think of like I try to be really conscious when I use but in a sentence because and I try to use and like, but my point is when I hear the but or when I say the but, it really means to me that I have a whole other intention happening because it's usually but this is the better way to do it, or this is it, no matter what I'm saying, that's the underlying thing is, but here's the deal, or here's why it's gonna fail, or here's why it won't work, or here's, you know what I mean? It's generally like, you know, I don't know, it's bringing up another point. So if I'm saying but, then I'm not holding the intention in my mind. I'm not truly holding the whole intention for success. I'm talking more about why something probably isn't going to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Let me see if I can give you an example. Yeah, I could go have a sandwich down the street, but we could go to the Mexican restaurant. What I'm really saying is, I'd rather do that. That's what I want you to focus on. If I said, yeah, I could have a sandwich down the street, and we could consider going to the Mexican restaurant. It's a different statement.
Kind of
Like that.
Kind of. I mean, it's.
I know it's a stretch.
It's a stretch. I mean, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, but I mean, I think it's just talking about how unconsciousness shapes our life. I mean,
and I think when we say unconsciousness, we mean the subconscious, the stuff that's happening below the surface that we're not paying attention to.
Well, yeah, and the stuff that we're programmed to say.
Yeah.
You know, like we've talked about it in terms of sorry. You know, I've had this conversation with several people about how we have to stop saying sorry because we as a society say sorry for everything. You know, oh, sorry I'm late, as opposed to even, you know, I apologize that I was late. You know what? You know, I wasn't on time or whatever it is. Just that word sorry just has so much stuff with it, you know, and we're taking the blame and we're putting that on ourselves in a different way. So it's like these unconscious mini movements that also open up the space for more prosperity.
Yeah, and we often use that sorry concept to apologize for something that's outside of our control.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, sorry I'm late, instead of, oh my gosh, there was an accident on the freeway and I got stuck in the backup. You know, I didn't mean to be late. You know, that kind of thing. Instead, we're like apologizing like we did something wrong and there's nothing we could have done.
Right.
You know?
So as we go through this book, where last week we talked about gratitude. And so that, I mean, as we tie intention to every week of this book and into our life, the role of gratitude is really about intending to notice what's good, what's happening that's good, what are we really grateful for, right?
Yeah, the setting our intention to be in gratitude. Yeah, to notice.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, in this beautiful New Thought community that we all are residing in, sometimes we get caught up in, oh yeah, being in gratitude for this, or it's all good, or all that. So like, specifically, it's noticing. Because if we don't notice, I mean, it's finding, you know, like, finding the good in those things that we go, this is not good. this isn't, I wish this hadn't happened that way, you know? And so it's being aware of that. So I wanted to share Shay. Thank you, Shay. It's not my fault has been a theme lately. Not going to carry guilt, that's not mine. I'm practicing not apologizing for asking what it is that I need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. Yeah, that's a really good example. People,
Yeah.
we often try to make it better by pretending that we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We don't want to whatever.
We want to be nice.
I just, I just saw a little bit about when the television show Home Improvement went off the air. It went off the air because I think her name Patricia Richardson that played the wife,
Mhm.
because for the 8th season they were going to pay Tim Allen twice what they were paying her, and she said no, I need to get the same amount. And they said no, and she said no, I'm not doing it. And instead of saying I'm sorry for asking for this, she was saying there's no reason why we should be different. We're both carry the show. We're both here, and this is and 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 of course, because of the prevailing tendency to pay women less, that was considered acceptable. And she just said no, it's not, and unapologetically, without apologizing, and just said okay, then I won't do it. I get it. You don't want to pay it. That's okay.
Well, again,
You
I'm
know?
going famously back to the four agreements. It's not personal. And when we're clear on what we want and why, then it's not personal. If somebody doesn't want to do it or doesn't agree or whatever, we can stand in that place. And Shay, I think you're such a good example of that, and the work that you do and have done, and as you share it on the show and in your workshops and things, because you've made that progression, that journey, and I think that's really important. I mean, to learn to stand. And again, she had a clear intention. Was her intention to get more money? Probably not.
It
Her
wasn't.
intention was to be valued, to
Yep.
speak up and to be valued. And by doing that, she was able to value herself. And so, and who knows what the response of other people were. I don't
Right.
remember
Well,
if she
and
got another show or if more
Yeah.
happened or what happened.
did she teach them a lesson? That probably didn't happen either. But
But she but no, I think on some level it had to. She set the stage for women to come. She
Right.
set that plate, she held that position.
right.
So as we move towards the end of this discussion, what intention, and Shay, please let us know, Gil, the question is, what intention is quietly shaping your life right now? Like, what is it, if you had to go within and think, where am I living from, and what intention is quietly shaping my life, whether it's a positive or a negative? I think those are two questions, really. Because one is what underlying theme or story runs the show, and the other is, what you're living into, what you're stepping into.
Well, I would say right now, my conscious intention is that I want to continue to grow spiritually, and I want to become more effective and powerful in how I show up in the world. And my underlying intention is to not get too big and not take on too much, and not allow myself to get in a position where I really have to change. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of the fighting things for me.
Conflicting things.
The conflicting.
All right. Shay says, yeah, My intention for the past 10 days or so has been to buy a car. I don't care if my insistence upon getting a fair deal has made me look XYZ to these male used car guys. My goal is important too. Getting a new car. How fun.
Yes, and your intention is to find what you need in a vehicle versus making sure everyone feels comfortable when you're there. Trusting that whatever someone says is the accurate truth. All that stuff. Your goal is your intention is to allow that perfect car to show up in your life. So you're willing to wait. You're willing to go. You're willing to show up somewhere and have someone say, "Oh no, we don't do that." Well, okay. Or someone would say, "Oh no, that car's worth way more than that." Go, okay. Yeah, not apologizing for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
What about you? What's competing in you, in your intention?
What's competing is
I mean, what's your intention, and what's perhaps an underlying intention that you're?
I'm going to answer your first question. What's competing in me is doing things that I'm passionate about, or doing things because I've made a commitment to do them and feel like I would like to follow through and complete them. That's what's competing.
Is that the truth?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Can I stop you?
Oh no.
Marriage, everybody, marriage.
Sometimes I would ask you, is it really following through on things you've committed to, or is the competing thing that you need to do things? You feel responsible to do things in certain situations, even though they're not your passion. You take them on. Once you take them on, I get you want to complete them because you committed, but so often you commit because somehow you feel like, I really should.
I don't really feel like I'm in the should space anymore.
Okay.
I mean, except maybe at church with you. Because no, I don't mean that bad. I just mean, I'm the minister's wife. I feel like there's times when there are things I should do. And not a lot, but it's hard because I'm there with you. It's harder to release things that I know are going to support you and make you look better. So those are probably where I get stuck in the shoulds. But in terms of like the other things that I know you're thinking about, like working with other people and companies and churches and things, I don't feel like those are shoulds.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So there you have it.
Dang, I was hoping to help you cut down on some of your
it's happening. Yeah, I know. Anyway, okay. I want to share a quote. So here we go.
Isn't it great?
This is a quote by Rhonda Byrne, and isn't it great to know that you cannot control your world from the outside? To try and control things on the outside feels impossible because it would take so much work, and in fact, it is impossible according to the law of attraction. To change your world, all you have to do is manage your thoughts and feelings on the inside of you, and then your whole world changes. That's it, folks. That's all you got to do.
Well, okay then. We'll see you all, folks, in another 6 years, and we'll check back in. Because now you have all the answers.
I know it sounds whatever, but there is a part of that that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And being aware of that.
I would take this quote and partly shift it, where she says that The only thing we have to do is change what's on the inside, change our own thoughts and blah, blah, blah. And I would say at some level, the only thing we can do is that. It's when we think we continue to think that there's some way we will change the world around us or change the situation. We can only change ourselves, ultimately.
We can only change ourselves.
Yes, agree but disagree. This is from Shay. Boundaries are a big thing too. We cannot change other people just by thinking or feeling it. So, yes, but we can't change other people at all. All we can do is set our own boundaries for what we need. We can't set a boundary that someone else respects. We can only set a boundary that allows us to put ourselves in a position of being respected. And I think that's where the key comes in. Where we have to eliminate certain people in our lives, or we have to change our beliefs on such and such. That's our boundary. I can't make Robin have a boundary about how she treats me, but if she continues to treat me beyond what works for me, then I have to figure out a boundary that allows me to not be treated that way.
Yes, so true.
So I'll be moving out. Oh, you wish.
Okay, we're not going to even joke about it.
Okay, I was kidding.
So, intention. Just a closing thought on intention. I think intention is really, the steering wheel of consciousness. It's what drives us. It's really that, when we can aim our awareness, our intention, then whether it's abundance or prosperity or love or whatever it is that we're intending, then it knows where to land. You know what I mean? Then it's in alignment with your thoughts. And I guess the important part is that prosperity it really begins with a decision, and that clarity and that decision begins inside of us.
Am I going to intend to see myself as a worthy blah 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 blah, blah person? Because that's where that whole thing begins, where I begin to understand and see the abundance that is constantly around me and in my life. So there's various levels at which if somebody goes, well, I can't just intend to get all that I want, to get a bunch of stuff or whatever it is. No, you have to first intend to grow yourself to the place where you see yourself as valuable, where you no longer accept what people say you're not worth it. When we realize that it is a soul living in a body, not a body with a soul. I'm not this body, I am this soul.
Yes.
That's my thought, and if you'd like more, tune in.
Then you can move into your house.
That's right, I can move into your house.
All right. So I just want to leave you with one quote. I think Shay said something else.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So here's a quote that I really like to, by Abraham Lincoln. You can have anything you want if you want it badly enough. There you go. You can have anything you want if you want it badly enough. And so, again, if you'd like to receive our weekly guide for this week on intention and prosperity, put your name in the chat and we will send it out to you. We'll send you week 1 too if you missed it. And I'm going to leave you with an affirmation for the week.
Woo.
My intention is my power. I direct my energy and abundance follows. And please feel free to substitute whatever it is you'd like to receive. But the important part is knowing that your intention is truly your power. So be clear and rock the love, because love is the first intention. All right. All right. So good to have you all here. Thanks, Shay, for playing along. And
Thank you, Scott.
Scott. Nice to hear from you. And we'll see you next week.
Bye
All
now.
right. Bye.